All right, everybody, Mother's Day is around the corner, and while we celebrate moms and babies every day in our job, we want to do something special to celebrate you at home. So we're going to be doing a giveaway for an Amazon gift card.
We're thrilled that you're here, that you found us, and that you take the time out of your day to listen to our podcasts. It really says a lot about the mom that you are, the mom that you want to be. And we're going to celebrate you with, as she said, the Amazon gift card, $20. So what we'd like for you to do is to go onto one of our platforms, smash that little button that says follow or subscribe. And then if you'll go into the comments and just comment Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
We will look at all those comments. We will put the names into a randomizer app on the computer and let it just select one. Then we'll come back and reach out to the winner. And so just go ahead and give us a like and a follow. Share it with your other mom friends. We would really appreciate that. We'll do our drawing on May 9th and we'll reach out to you then.
Yes.
Good luck. And
you're doing a great job. Go heat up your coffee.
Yes. Keep being awesome.
The information in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Consult your healthcare provider for proper care regarding your specific situation.
Welcome to Rattled Nurses, the podcast that's here to shake things up when it comes to pregnancy, breastfeeding, and postpartum care. Hosted by two experienced nurses, we're bringing you real talk, expert advice, and a whole lot of laughs as we navigate the wild world of newborn care.
Whether you're a first-time parent or adding another little one to the mix, we've got the tips, stories, and answers you need to make this journey a little easier and a lot more fun. So grab your coffee, even if it's cold, get comfy, and let's dive in. Welcome to episode 6 of the Rattle Nurses podcast. It's so good to have you here.
I'm Sarah. This is Delana. Today we're going to talk about infant security and basically the father or support person's role in the postpartum phase.
First off, I want to mention, what do you think of the backdrop?
Look at our magical backdrop, guys.
We're not stuck in a black hole anymore.
Yes. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Other than that, how's your week been?
Pretty good. Pretty busy. Getting ready for my 3 nights of work ahead of me, but, you know.
Fun.
Laundry, house cleaning, all the fun stuff that we all deal with every day.
I've been trying to work on my taxes, which is not going well for me. And then also we're trying to renovate some of our house. So Mark has been very stringent on money, but we're trying to renovate part of our house. And so we've got the 2-story house. And the first floor is going really well. The second floor, no, that's another story.
Yes, it is another story. It is another story.
I know. I had to.
I was like, I didn't know you were renovating. What?
I didn't either. Apparently I am today.
Okay.
We actually have been trying to paint, but we don't paint in a sequential normal order. It's like, today is going to be this wall. Tomorrow will be this wall. It's just a very chaotic thing.
And you have the really tall walls that go up?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, I do.
That's so hard.
And like, this is a waste of space, truthfully. It could have been part of the second story. Anyway, so now it's time for our mini segment. Things that would be good names if they weren't actually things.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
Okay.
Throw it at me.
All right. I kind of like this one, actually, just because it's so funny to me.
Rosacea.
Rosacea.
That would be very pretty.
It would be pretty if it wasn't a thing. Out of context?
It's totally, yeah.
My name's Rosacea. Nice to meet you.
I really wouldn't be surprised if we had a rosacea at some point.
It might happen at some point.
But to this day, I haven't seen it yet.
Nope. This could be a male name.
Slay.
Slay.
I'm pretty sure we'll probably see that.
Yeah, Slay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Slay.
It totally sounds
Nice
like
to meet you. I'm
name.
Slay, part of the football team. They could be a lawyer.
I think they're going to be rock stars.
Oh, I guess
what
they
I
could
think.
be. They could be a rock star.
Right up there with Slash and Axl Rose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slash and Axel.
Slay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Slay plays bass. Okay. This is a medication.
Sky Rizzy.
Sky Rizzy. I think, okay. So actually that came from my mom because my mom named one of her cats Sky Rizzy because she ran out of names for her cats. So she started, and I think another one is Rexulti. And so she's like all the immunosuppressive medication, like she'll see scrolling across her TV commercials.
That's funny.
So, and then she's like, so of course she calls them Sky and then Rex. But anyway, last one.
Hey, it works.
This one's not a surprise to you.
Oh, no, it's not. Darvasette. Darvasette.
That was actually Delena's creation.
Little baby Darvasette.
Darby. Come here, little Darby.
I had a patient many years ago who did not name their child Darvasette, but commented that had they had a baby girl, that was just beautiful. We might have named the baby Darvasette if it were a girl.
I mean, out of context, it's really pretty, but Darvasette.
Yes.
It sounds almost regal.
That's funny. Queen Darvasette.
Yep. That's hilarious. More of those to come on following episodes, but okay.
I wanted to talk about, so at work, we have, the little whiteboard that's next to the big whiteboard assignments. It's called Sunshine and Sarcasm. And that is really what our nursing unit is made up of. We are a very happy place to be, but we run on sarcasm behind the scenes when the patients aren't with us.
Yes. We have to.
Sarcasm is our second language. And so there's always something written up there, whether it's a funny, cute joke or something along those lines. But this week, actually, one of our sweet little nurses, who's always finding the positive, she wrote up there, technically all moms are bodybuilders.
All this.
And I was like, that's so cute. That's just
cute.
So, building people up, building these women up. And the women can't even see it.
No,
so
they can.
You just wanted to share with you that you're a bodybuilder.
You're a bodybuilder. Did you know
I don't
that?
care what you look like, what you see in the mirror, what size you wear. It doesn't matter. You're a bodybuilder.
This is true. I saw that too, and I was like, well, that's adorable. The part of the game in this is trying to figure out who wrote what. And I
was there. I know who wrote that.
Okay. And by the way, there are limitations on what can be written on the Sarcasm and Sunshine board because I have exceeded those limitations. And our manager was like, you cannot write that up there. And I said, nobody can see it. It's just for us to see. And I even censored the thing that I was going to put or that I put. Anyway, I totally forgot what it was, but I had to erase it. So I have met the limits of these Sunshine and Sarcasm whiteboard.
You've been filtered.
I have. I'm like, and I think for a good month, right before I went on my leave for my tonsillectomy, I think for a good month, I was like, I'm not writing anything on this board. I was so mad at it for no reason. But, okay. So today we're going to talk about infant safety. Yes, we are going to keep your baby safe. There are certain ways that we do that. We don't want your baby to get stolen. And there are certain ways that we prevent that. So first and foremost, we have what is called our HUGS system. That's HUGS. And I don't know if there are other systems out there.
There are.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
so. So this one's our HUGS system. Essentially, we put what most people call low jack, but if you don't know what that is, it is an alarm that once it attaches to your baby's skin and feels like the warmth, it'll what's the word I'm looking for? It'll turn itself on and it'll go diddle, and basically then it becomes activated in the system. If that particular tag, when it's on a baby or anywhere else, if it is activated and it goes near a door, the whole place basically shuts down. You can't go up an elevator. You can't unlock a door. You can't badge through a door. Nothing.
There'll be a little siren going off.
Yes, and it screams at you for a long time until you figure out where that particular hugs tag is. They do have numbers on them, and whenever we have it in our system, so we put the hugs tag on, and it'll crank up with like number 4467, and we'll put the baby and the last name and the room number. So that if it does alarm, then it tells us, hey, that baby is close to a door somewhere or has exited the building. So, which doesn't happen.
And we even have a little map on our computer at the desk, and it will show us where that baby is located, what door it's near, so we can come and find baby.
Sometimes it's sensitive enough where like the nurses will put it in their pockets and like when discharging it. You do, by the way, you have to discharge it out of the system completely before you can cut it. Otherwise, it'll siren. It also sirens if it's been tampered, like if you're pulling it the wrong way, like if the parents are messing with it, or if it becomes loose or starts to fall off, it'll also siren. But I've seen nurses put it in their pocket and then it'll start going off like it says incorrect tag or something. Yeah, it'll reactivate itself. And then you'll see them like walking down the hall. And so I'll have to match up what nurse is walking down the hallway to find, be like, hey, take that hugs tag out of your pockets. It's pretty funny. With that being said, we also have our lockdown unit and cameras. We are locked down so people can't come and go. You do have to press a button and tell us who you're here to see and their room number. So that way random people can't come in. And if they're just saying, oh, I'm here to say the parent in room 3000, whatever, we'll be like, well, what's the name? And if they tell us they don't know, then we're not going to let them back because they don't have the correct information. So
yes, that could have been a patient that was already discharged.
Yeah.
Or, could be something, foul going on. They are just trying to get on the unit. So
yes.
We're very sensitive to that information. And there's also cameras that we can see them face to face before we even let them in the door. So we see if they're, carrying anything, any weapons or anything dangerous that we don't want. Yeah. So we can totally keep those people out.
We also have them in camera at all the entrances, not just the buttons when they pop up, but we've got cameras at each of the entrances and including onto the other units that are locked. So,
yes. We have ID bands that match up mom and baby. Those are placed on baby right after delivery in the labor and delivery room. And mom gets one, and whoever the support person is, all receive one. And they have a matching number on there. We use those numbers on the unit, say if we have to take the baby out of the room for any reason, to the nursery for assessment, or if you want the baby to, just to come into the nursery so that you can rest. Then anytime we take the baby back in the room, we always compare those numbers with either moms or dads and make sure that we have the correct parent with the correct baby.
I also like to check and make sure they are matching before I leave,
Yes.
I think part of my initials, I'm like, okay, we do all have the same numbers. Yes? Okay, cool. Because if there's a discrepancy, because it has mom's name and mom's the same number across all of them. If there's something happens or baby loses a band or dad loses a band, we have to reprint the entire band. So it's not like we just print off one. It prints off with a whole new set of numbers and everything. But yeah, so we'll use those. Babies normally have, one on the hand and one on the foot. So that number one, if one gets lost, and number two, that we can easily match, just check with baby's band and check with mom's band or dad's band or whatever, whoever's there.
Because every now and then those little babies, I swear they turn into Houdinis. And you would think that those bands would never come off, but they can slip them off their little foot.
They do.
Easily sometimes when they're flexing it just right. So at least they've always got one on, their arm or whatever. But we can usually find them folded up in the swaddles or mom's bed sheets or somewhere, but there are two on baby.
Yes. So there are another part of infant safety is across our hospital system and the other hospital systems, we will get BOLO alerts, which is be on lookout, which some people probably know. We'll get BOLO alerts for, say, people who have had suspicious activities in other hospital systems, saying, like, they've come in multiple times to the ER, saying they're pregnant, basically just trying to get to a unit where the babies or the moms are, even though they're not. So something as simple as that will trigger a BOLO alert across each of the hospital systems in our Metroplex, pretty much. So that way we'll get an email, then we'll post that up so that everybody sees them. And of course, it just kind of looks like a mugshot. It's not anything fantastic, but it still gives us like okay, so there might be someone suspicious running around, whether it's, 20 miles north or south of us, whatever. So we also have that. We also, I do have a story. So one time, way back in COVID, when we were only allowing, like on our antepartum unit, we were only allowing like one visitor at a time. There was a person that snuck in an 8-year-old in a giant bag.
Gosh,
Do you remember
yes,
that?
I do remember that.
There was a person that snuck in an 8-year-old. So I think when someone let them back, we didn't know how it happened, but all of a sudden there was a child on the unit. And so we had to go back and look at the cameras, and it showed this woman carrying in this big, giant bag. So now that's something that I always look forward to. I'm like, why do you have a recklessly large bag in tow? Like, do we need that?
She was struggling to breathe.
I know. She wasn't the most fit person either. So I'm just really surprised that they, like, what happened? Hold on, let me pull out my kid. Whoa, that bag's a lot lighter now.
That was one of the craziest things I've seen.
We were like, how did that even happen? But so we'll look for things like that. We also do what we call code pink drills, where our
manager,
where our manager will usually instigate some sort of code pink, pretend, like, we don't know sometimes if it's real or not. I'm not going to lie. Like, we have no idea.
Sometimes we don't even know that she's there.
Yes. She'll sneak around. Like, there was one time she speaks Spanish, and so she went to a Spanish-speaking patient's room, basically told her in Spanish, hey, I'm going to run this drill. Can I borrow your baby and take them into the bathroom? This was on the old
Yes, she does. She clears it with the patient. So you would know what was going on if that ever happened.
And then so she cuts the band off. Then, of course, it alerts across the floor. And then they call a code pink overhead about this missing baby. So we, of course, go to the parents' room at first. We go to the parents' room and the baby's not there. And at this time, when there's a code pink, we are standing, like, someone just disperses.
At every
and we're
exit.
standing at every exit. There's someone guarding an exit no matter what. And it turned out she had taken this patient's baby and locked herself in the bathroom. And so then when we were trying to figure out where the baby went, we finally figured out, like, because the mom, I think we came back in, the mom was laughing. So we're like, oh, there's a locked door. So we had to get the old school screwdrivers and, like, jam it in the door and bust it open so we could be like, okay, found her baby. But yes,
so
we'll
wrong.
do drills.
It's so wrong.
She also did one where she had, I think it was like another hospital administrator in, like, street clothes or something, had them carrying a big bag out of the exit going onto one of the other units. And our charge nurse that day, who's tall and very, not aggressive, but she can be if she needs to, dang near tackled this person trying to prevent them from going off the unit. So we're like, okay, we've had enough code pinks for a while. So yes, we do drills for making sure baby's safety is okay.
And I know that I think we've talked about this before. When we make a little crib card for baby's crib, and it always has mom's last name on it. Now we know that many babies, that is not the name that's going to be on the birth certificate. We never mind making another card with what baby's last name is going to be on that birth certificate. But please, please, while you're in the hospital, please keep the one that we make on the crib, because I've had moments where my heart just absolutely drops down into my stomach when I have a baby and I'm going to put baby back in that crib, and I realize that the baby I have is not the name on this crib, but I don't know everybody's last name on the unit off the top of my head, just my patients. And I swear I nearly have a heart attack every time that happens.
Whenever I see that, sometimes it'll be scratched out, so I'll have to take another crib card and remake it, and then I'll tell them, be like, I'll give them that whole spiel, but I'll make them one that they want and be like, here, you can take this home and put it in your book, but this is the one, whether you keep it or not, this one stays on,
And I don't even care if the other one's in the crib, but please don't take the one that we made off, because that name in my head is who I know that baby to be and who I know that baby's mom is. That's scary. That's like my worst nightmare ever.
Me too.
Is getting the wrong baby with the wrong mom. And I've been doing this for many years and it's never happened, but I just still have this horrible fear that one day it will.
It's never going to happen. It's going to be fine. You'd hope that the parents would have the wherewithal to be like, this one's pink. I ordered the blue one.
Right.
So can I get a refund? But you never know. Moms are tired. Yes, we do basically also the one-on-one as well. So if I'm going to assess a baby, and if like Delana said, if I've got to take it out of the room for whatever reason, I will usually have just the one baby at a time. So I do my thing with that baby, double check everything, and then take that baby back to its room. So I'm not having multiple babies at a time. Mm-hmm. That's different at night when the nursery is open and the nursery nurse has several
there
babies.
May be 5 or 6 babies in the nursery at one time.
But generally, their nurse will come and retrieve the correct baby and take it back to the correct room. So they don't rely on the nursery nurse to be like, okay, here's your baby's back.
No. Yeah. And even the nursery nurse, she's only handling one baby at a time. So when that baby goes out of that crib, that baby goes straight back in that crib before. Yes. So anyway, the chances are very slim, and we have so many things in place
to cross-check and everything. Yes.
That I feel like we didn't even have years ago.
No, we didn't.
Started this.
When I was doing my rotations at one of the super big downtown community hospitals, when I was doing my rotations, just my clinicals for getting into nursing, they had a baby bus. And no joke, it freaked me out. They each had their little bassinets.
What?
Yes. And they would push this little cart around, and they had like, okay, go into the room, drop this baby off with this mom. Go into the room, drop this baby off with this mom. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So you were literally taking other people's babies into other moms' rooms and...
Well, no, they would just have their bassinet right there and then just take them into the room real quick. And then, yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't recall if it was like one nurse or 2 nurses with them. Mm-hmm. I can't remember that part. I just remember the sight of the baby bus and thinking, absolutely not. This is ridiculous.
So scary.
Yes. And so I think it changed quickly after that. But with everything in place, there is minimal chance. Can't ever say it never, but there is minimal chance that your baby's going to get taken and going to get mixed up. Like, there's so many precautionary things in place.
Yes. And as much as we love your babies and love taking care of them, we don't want them.
I don't want them. I'm sorry. They're cute. And I will happily cuddle your baby for you, but I don't want your baby.
We want you to have your baby.
Another thing, too, it's on the media, it's a lot of the times the nurses are abducting all the babies. And so people still have fear that that's going to happen. I will say for our particular unit, and I think most postpartum and mother-baby units in general, we know our peers and we know our coworkers. So if there was someone sketchy or untrustworthy, we would pull our manager aside and be like, this person has made some comments, like let's get some sort of corrective action. I don't know. But I think we know each other well enough that, number one, we don't think any of our coworkers would do that. And number two, I would tackle them to the floor if they did. So,
right. Exactly.
But yeah. Okay. Any comments on that?
I don't think so.
We don't.
I think we've covered the infant security.
I love your babies and I love you, but I don't want to take them home because I can't claim them on my taxes. So, just kidding. Okay, so following that, we're going to talk about the support persons or father, whoever, birthing partner number 2, whatever you want to call them to keep them PC, their role in the postpartum unit. They've done their job in labor and delivery. They've helped coach you through, but what do they do now? Yes, it is imperative that people take naps, but a lot of them will just come to the floor and then sleep for like a good 46 hours. So this is something that your support person can help you with as well. There's several different things that they can do.
Oh, it's a learning time for dads as well. Not just moms. These dads, oftentimes they need the experience and the practice at diapering.
Yes. And we'll help. Yeah, no problem.
Yes. And there's a lot of good supportive dads out there who really want to learn, and they'll ask all the questions. But then, they're the ones that
are not
sleep.
But then there are ones just like, I get it culturally. There are some that culturally just do not participate in the care of the baby. And so they will call the nurse for every little thing. Like, the baby's crying. The baby needs a diaper change. We're like, okay, do you need us to help you and show you how to do it? And they're like, no. Okay, well, go ahead. You can change the diaper then. So among that, of course, the support person will aid in infant cares, diapering, swaddling, soothing. If you're doing bottle over breast, bottle feeding too, whatever.
And, we're always happy to come in. I get so many, and I know we talked about swaddling, but we get so many calls. Can you show us again how to swaddle our baby? We'll do that all night long.
No problem.
There was a night I think it was probably the last shift I worked. I answered the call light. It was somebody wanting help swaddling. And before I hung up that one, another call light was ringing. The person in the very room next door was wanting help with swaddling. And within a couple of minutes, another call light, help with swaddling. So we get that. And that's totally fine.
It's easy to forget how to do.
Yes.
Because they're not going to be swaddled all the time.
And, we've been doing it for years. And we never mind. Actually, I really appreciate that. Will you show me how to swaddle? Not just, will you swaddle my baby?
Have you ever had someone record you while you're doing it?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
I have too. I was like, I'm going to be on camera. Just kidding. Usually it's like overhead trying to do the step-by-step, which we'd done a couple episodes back. But
it would probably be crazy if we really knew how many people's home videos and photographs we were in through the years. It probably wouldn't be so attractive either at the end of a 12-hour shift.
Videos. They can also help with breastfeeding.
Yes, and some of them do, helping get those pillows positioned just right. Especially, you do football hold. You need the pillows and,
the front pillow, the back pillow, the side pillow, the neck pillow.
Yes. And then you need that little gap back here for the feet.
For the feet, yeah. So nesting, helping your partner nest for breastfeeding, positioning that baby, handing you the baby, getting the baby changed and unswaddled prior to breastfeeding.
Yes, and that's the perfect time to change the diaper too. Is what I always tell the parents. If nothing else, just check the diaper each time before you feed. And if it's time to feed and the baby's sleeping, a diaper change a lot of times.
Get that cold, wet
right up
cloth on their tushy.
Yes.
Wake right up.
And then another thing that dads can do is work on. If the baby's not awake, we want you waking that baby up every 3 hours to eat. And so I often show them, we'll use Polly here,
Polly,
to wake them up we just gently rock baby back and forth is what I do. I'll set her up, I'll rub her back, I'll lay her back, I'll rub her belly, and I just keep doing that gently over and over and over again, maybe 5 minutes. And then after a little bit, you'll set her up and her eyes will just pop open.
And they are.
And she'll be like, okay.
It kind of just disturbs.
I smell my mama.
Yeah, it disturbs their
go.
equilibrium a little bit because they're not used to the movement like that. So they kind of wake up and they're like, okay, fine. I mean, I'm awake.
What would you do if somebody was making you do crunches in bed?
Yes.
Like, okay, I'm up.
Fine. I'm
Leave
up.
me alone.
I will eat if I insist.
Give me the bacon.
You insist. Yes. So waking up baby, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Getting baby awake and ready, or positioning too. Positioning also helps when we're trying to learn the different holds and breastfeeding.
So with that, Dad's helping, get baby positioned, whether it's football or cradle, side lying, which for me still kind of to this day sometimes is a challenge.
It really is a challenge.
But we have some lactation nurses that can get you there so easily, and moms just tend to love that position. But it's not my forte. Exactly.
As a support person, when lactation or nurse, whoever is in there teaching you the positions, please feel free to get in there, and then we will show you what to do and how to get mom ready and the positions and things like that, what to look for, the correct positioning against mom, the correct positioning of the mouth, or the lips flange, things to look for. We are happy to have you involved so that you can also help, because it's not just a one-day situation. This is a 2-week plus learning. When
mom's breastfeeding, it's hard for mom to exactly see what baby's bottom lip is doing. And we want baby's bottom lip to, I always say, it looks like the special K on the box. How the K at the bottom, how it goes bloop, like that.
Yes.
Hopefully you see that if you're on YouTube. You're probably wondering what I'm doing if you're just listening to the audio. Bloop. Anyways, we want it to have that perfect little slant to it. And that usually lets us know that baby's, on deeper, and the tongue is usually in a good position, and it's not going to be pinching mom's nipple. But all that to say that sometimes in certain positions, especially football, mom can't get to where she can see what that bottom lip is doing. And, the nurse or her partner can look and see and be like, oh, yeah, it looks great. Or it looks like it's, if that bottom lip is kind of folded under, then sometimes you can just take a finger and just pop that little chin down. And it usually doesn't disturb their breastfeeding at all, but mom's eyes, I can just see it on her face.
So that's better.
Oh, wow. That's
the difference.
Yes, that's different. So that's something the support person can really help with there.
So if you're a support person or about to be a support person, please don't hesitate to get in there. Like we said, we'll happily teach you everything that we're teaching, just because it's a community effort sometimes. Also offering drinks, snacks. I mean, mom's got her hands full, holding breasts, holding baby, holding pillows, whatever. So offer drinks, snacks, phone, get her nested in, whatever, so she has everything around her, especially when baby's getting in those marathon feedings.
Yes. And dads will keep track of the feeding log. A lot of times they'll be writing down they'll get so specific. They'll be like, we started at 6:32. Yes.
Be like, you can round, it's okay. It's totally fine if you round.
And so they'll write it down in the log, because those times they run together. If you're just feel like you're awake all the time, you're not sleeping, and it just feels like the baby's constantly eating. So you don't know when the baby fed last.
I'm not going to lie. I feel my dumbest when I go in, and yes, I love when they do the feeding logs, but they will write down the specific times, like 9:51 to 10:36. And I'm like,
you're trying to
can't compute. I'm like, wait, okay, let me just... I'm like, I just want a simple time. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 45. Like, just a nice whole time frame. But I like that they're specific. That's fine. Whatever helps them.
Yes. And then we talked before about being the gatekeeper.
Yes.
As a support person. Visitors, when it's time to go or time to step out of the room so that mom can breastfeed or get a freaking nap in.
Yes.
It's all important. And I know people are super excited to see the baby, but yeah, sometimes you've just kind of talk to each other ahead of time and so that you know when to cut it off.
We have our giant family room that's hardly used. Sometimes if mom is really trying to take a nap and you can just see on their face, they are melted. They have used every tidbit of energy that they have for that day. I will sometimes say, if there's a large group of people, I'll offer it to dad and be like, why don't you take baby to the family room? And you guys can visit and hang out and mom can get some rest if she's okay with it, of course. And we've done that before too, but especially if mom is wanting the privacy of getting out of bed. Things are exposed, butts everywhere. I mean, they may not want all the family to see that side of them. Or breastfeeding. Some people are completely comfortable with it. Some people are not. So if you talk to your significant other, and if that's not something they're comfortable with, is breastfeeding in public, in front of their family, their dads, their uncles, whatever, then maybe you can facilitate moving those visitors to a different room while mom's trying to feed baby. So.
And also dads oftentimes will come and ask us, can mom have, she's really hungry. Is there anything she can have for a snack when she's too embarrassed to ask?
Yes.
Or, if she's needing pain meds or anything really.
Yes, advocate.
Now,
for
the one
that.
thing I will say with that is we don't mind. I mean, yeah, sure, we'll bring pain medicine, but I need mom to tell me what her pain level is, not dad.
On the opposite token, I really do not appreciate when mom is telling me that she would like something for the pain or cramping, and then the support person, father's like, you don't need that.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm like,
I'm going to say,
is it your vagina that's hurting right now?
Exactly. I'm so glad yours doesn't hurt.
I think that has slipped out of my mouth before. So, I mean, it just bothers me to no extent. Like if that parent wants some medication, if they're uncomfortable, they're just not enjoying themselves, like enjoying time with their baby, and a simple Motrin or whatever is going to help that situation, please support that decision for them. If they would like to do that, if they would like a little Motrin.
There's a reason why it's ordered.
There's a reason why it's there.
We know it hurts. And there are different degrees of tears. And some definitely hurt more than others. But also, even, if it's mom's fourth or fifth baby, she's going to be having some hella cramps.
Yeah, we talked about them cramps.
Yeah, so, just because it didn't hurt the last time doesn't mean it's not going to now.
If they're vocalizing that they want some pain medicine or something, please support them.
Yes.
Or breastfeeding. I've had new moms, new families decide, okay, I'd like to try to breastfeed. Even if it's not their first kid and it's their first time attempting to breastfeed, they'll try to breastfeed, decide that they do not like it.
Yes.
And then they will want to switch. And then the support person, father, whatever, is saying, no, we need to breastfeed. You can do this. We need to do this. Like, I get if you're trying to encourage and reassure, like those are important things to do as a support person, reassurance and encouragement. But telling them like they should be doing it a certain way, don't put that pressure. Please don't put that pressure on them. If they've decided the breastfeeding is not for them, there's other methods.
Yes. And if you're stressed and your milk's not going to let down like it would otherwise anyways. Like sometimes it just doesn't work. And if it's not your breast, then you shouldn't have the whole say. Let mom be in on that decision as well.
I did have one recently, and I will say a lot of times in labor and delivery, they'll ask you, what's your feeding plan? What would you like to do? And but a lot of the times they will we do have some nurses who, even though the parents want to bottle feed, they'll coerce them. Why don't you try breastfeeding? Then plop baby on the breast. And then the patient will come down and be like, I didn't want to do this. And I'm like, okay, I support you. Whatever you want to do, I will help. So be that advocate for your support person.
Yes. Yes.
So yes.
And just tell us what you want, moms, because we're here for you.
Yep.
For sure.
Yes. So with that being said, if you've got, say you didn't have a chance to get your meds, feed the dog, pack your bags, whatever, and you've had to run to the hospital in the middle of the night, don't have all your stuff, you didn't shower, we've got some answers for you. Yes, you can definitely use our showers. I have no problem with that. Like, we will try to provide towels, of course, if they're available. Sometimes we have a shortage of towels for whatever reason. But we will provide you with towels. If you need some very clinical hospital soap, I will give you that too. But if you, for whatever reason, need to go home, take care of kids, dogs, whatever is not going to stress mom out at the time, if you need to go get your medicines or something, don't try to tough it out. Just go grab your stuff. Let us know that you're leaving, especially if you're freshly delivered, baby's freshly out. We will keep a close eye on mom. We'll be responsive, and of course, we'll help her with whatever she needs. So don't feel like you have to stay and tough it out and forego your medicines, forego your shower, forego all your duties. You are allowed to leave and come back. So
And anytime.
At any time.
Dads can come in anytime. It doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m.
Yeah,
They still get to come and go.
Absolutely. It just, we don't want you to be stressing out too and not being a good partner for your family. So what else?
Let's see.
I have one. Kids.
Yes.
Don't bring your children up there and then drop them off and expect a freshly delivered mom to be able to take care of said children.
Yes. And don't leave those kids. And you go home and take care of the dogs, and the kids are running amok in the room. That cannot happen. We've had to go in and talk to moms about that on a few occasions, because things do happen, and you just don't know when things could go south. We've had moms hemorrhage before, just, with no warning. It does happen, and, not frequently, thank God.
Yes.
But there's always a possibility. You are in a hospital setting. You're there for a reason, because you need care.
You never know what's going to happen.
And so if something medically were to turn for the worst, for whatever reason, for you, of course, we have a nursery. We can take the baby to the nursery, but who's going to care for those
Other kids.
If, say, you have to go back into the operating room for an emergency procedure? That puts us all in a really bad situation. So moms cannot be responsible for actually caring for anyone other than the baby while she's a patient.
You know what? And tell you the truth too, including labor and delivery. I get that if the dad, support person, your father figure, whoever's there with their other child, keep in mind that if something goes wrong and you have your kid there, you do need to have someone to help you with that child, because if something goes wrong, you're going to be focused on mom and baby and what's going on at the time. Several years ago in our old building, that happened in labor and delivery. We were all connected at it was in the same square.
A big square.
It was a big square. So postpartum's over here, and then labor and delivery is over here. So someone had called a rapid response overhead. And what that means is, hey, something, we're in a dire situation. We need all hands on deck. So I think it was that situation where mom was hemorrhaging and needed to go back into surgery. Baby was fine. There was another nurse in there who was taking care of baby, but dad was focused on mom, obviously. But dad was focused on mom, and they had a toddler in the room. Well, during this onslaught of people coming in from across the hospital, from our unit, from whatever, one of our little techs on night shift went in and scooped up this toddler and took her to the desk and started coloring with her, because at the end of it, they were like, "Where's our other kid?" And I was like, well, one of our techs who used to work in a daycare saw that there was an influx of people, went ahead and grabbed her to keep her safe. So just took her to the desk, and they were like, "Oh, thank goodness." So it's situations like that you're not anticipating. We do want family to be a part of everything, but we kind of need checks and balances.
Yes.
You know, if mom and dad are together trying to have this baby, who's going to be monitoring the toddlers?
And that being said, it's not always that we have a tech or somebody that would be available to do that.
That's true. That was on the night shift days when we had a tech.
Right. So it really does pose issues. And we need somebody there responsible for other children.
I think that the reason she had the wherewithal to do that is because I think she tried to come in and help, saw there was a bunch of people, saw that there was a little toddler running around, and she was like, "Oh, okay, I can do this." And so she had worked in a daycare, plopped that kid in her lap, and was just help keeping her safe and calm and everything. So props to her for that. But anyway, so lots of options, lots of things that you can do as a support person.
Yes.
So don't feel like you're, "Okay, baby's out, I'm not doing anything anymore. She's doing all the work." Please don't do that. Please.
And then just one little thing.
I like those things.
This is my pet peeve.
I have a lot of those, so.
It may not sit well with some dads, but please leave your Xbox and your PlayStation at home. This is not an arcade. And when you come in and you start trying to hook all that up to our hospital televisions and you're messing with the wires and everything, it's just not cool.
You know, it does say on our internet, like on our website, that those things can be accessed. And they'll try to ask me for help, and I'll be like, "I barely know how to work my own computer." Like,
Right.
and that's on a good day. I cannot help you. And then our TVs are like way in the air.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Excuse me, well, let me go ahead and get my stepladder," which I brought with me in my purse. No. I generally do not like that either, but I did see a family one time where it was adorable. Mom was playing. It wasn't just dad playing and ignoring mom.
Which is usually the case.
And
when they have
that gives me the pet
Xbox.
peeves.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But it was mom and dad. They were both playing a game with each other. Like, they were both playing on it. And then mom's sitting up and baby's in mom's lap, just chilling after having been fed, just hanging out. I'm like, okay, well, this is my exception.
That's the caveat.
And this is kind of cute, and I'll let it slide. But yes, if dad's there playing Xbox, baby's crying, mom's in pain, I just want to be like, no. That's when I get my spray bottle. No.
Yes.
No.
Squirt him like he's a cat.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. No. But yes, please be cognizant of your person who just had a baby.
She just had your baby.
Whether it was your baby, someone else's baby, I don't care. She just had a baby.
She built the whole human.
She's a bodybuilder now, man.
That's right. Respect.
All right. Well, if you have any comments or suggestions or questions, please reach out to us. We'll answer whether candidly or not candidly. But please follow, like, and subscribe. We're Rattled Nurses everywhere.
That's right.
Facebook, Instagram, all the things. But okay.
Okay, we'll talk next week.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you for listening today. The Rattled Nurses podcast is not intended to provide medical advice. It is not endorsed by our employer, and we are not speaking on behalf of our employer. Our commentary and stories are our own.
Also, on a serious note, we want you to know that if you are feeling blue or depressed, it is okay. You're not alone, and there's always someone to reach out to. You can call the National Maternal Mental Health Hotline at 1-833-TLC-MAMA, or text the crisis line. Text HOME, HOME, to 741-741. Remember, you're doing a great job. Now go warm up your coffee.